bekräftar statssekreterare Dan Eliasson uppgifterna om att Sverige utsatts för hot om handelssanktioner.
Jag vet att USA har synpunkter på effektiviteten i vårt system när det gäller upphovsrätt. Och att om inte Sverige och andra länder följer sina internationella åtaganden så finns det sanktionsmekanismer i USA, det vet jag. Och det har påtalats från amerikansk sida.
Det här har framförts?
Jag vet att det har förekommit diskussioner om att om internationella regelverket när det gäller handel och upphovsrätt inte följs utav Sverige och andra länder, då finns det en sanktionsmekanism.
Tycker du att det ingår i dina arbetsuppgifter att rapportera till en lobbyist från Hollywood?
Jag rapporterar inte till någon.
I think it's a rape on the Swedish law.
Directly after the raid, the MPAA sent out a press release saying basically mission succeeded. And that also shows very clear, I think, that the mission was not convicting people, it was sabotaging.
Yeah, but online again after a few days.
Nobody thought we were actually going back online, and that was like the biggest question. Are you actually coming back online? And I was very clear that we are coming back online if you stop calling me.
The obvious goal of the police was to get the Pirate Bay offline and get the internet supplier PRQ offline, but they failed miserably. After 3 days, the servers were back up and most of the backups restored. So the site worked perfectly. And about a week after that, everything was back up 100%.
Spectacular success for us.
When the raid happened, we got an enormous amount of media attention. So it definitely helped. The days after the raid, we had doubled our visitor numbers. And also it awakened the debate about file sharing in Sweden.
I mean, most people in Sweden feel pissed about the use of trade sanction threats to override national law.
Yeah, a lot of different youth groups to the parties were active in our demonstration to show the support for the file sharing in Sweden. I think we had 4 different parties attending the demonstration, and also 3 of them were speaking on behalf of their party at the demonstration, along with representatives of the Piracy Bureau and the Pirate Bay. And also the newly formed Pirate Party also got a lot. They doubled their member numbers in 2 days.
Everyone in Sweden somehow knows about the Pirate Bay today.
Pirate Bay, Bush torrents, and I also use DSC to download music. It's from the Pirate Bay mostly, then it's the Mininova.
I use Pirate Bay, a place called Karagarga.
The Pirate Bay and internet.
I have gotten a lot of support from the rest of the ISP community and a lot of new customers calling us up and saying, hey, we heard about the raid. We want to help you. We want to move our co-location to your place. Because they know that we stand for freedom of speech and we would like to defend it.
Opinionsundersökningar visar att en majoritet av dem tycker att den här lagen mot fildelning är dum. De betraktar det som en allemansrätt, ungefär som vi äldre ser på lingonplockning och svampplockning på.
Every single political party in Sweden suddenly started to have a realistic take on file sharing. Quite suddenly realized that file sharers are also voters. Most parties said things that were actually very positive towards file sharing, but at the same time they couldn't say like, okay, we take away the copyright laws. The whole thing is far from ended. It will go on for probably several years in Sweden.
Obviously just shot themselves in the foot, because now it will be politically impossible for them to take an action against the Pirate Bay or something similar in Sweden again. It was quite an eye-opener for them that there's such a large base of popular support for file sharing and the general copyright issues.
Now the site is virtually impossible to take down because we have implemented the redundancy everywhere.
So if something goes down now, like for instance a new read or something, we're going to be back up in a couple of hours instead of a couple of days.
The joke is over, smell the smoke from all around.
Piratbingo was born from a very loose group of people communicating on the IRC chat channels. We were basically into doing different kinds of playful internet projects and reappropriating the term of piratbyrån by cutting away the anti was one of those like playful impulses. So we just did it. And people had very different backgrounds. It was a very loose group. Everyone felt that this was something new and unexplored, but at the same time something that we knew would definitely grow in importance for several years ahead.
What they did was to turn the public debate and actually give public opinion a counterpoint. Where there had only been the copyright industry's point of view before, there was now a counterpoint. So when the copyright industry had their voice in the public media, there was also the Pirate Bureau's voice, always. And I mean, that was unthinkable just 5 years ago.
As for Piratbingo, maybe represents some kind of new wave of criticism against copyright law, when like the first wave was more legalistic, more based on American universities, in fact. Many people think we have like an office and staff and such things, but we don't. We don't have a fixed location.
Well, we wanted to like cover the news, be a practical help for people that didn't know how to do it, because there was no site in Sweden explaining how it's done. It was spread on the street, like from person to person. How do you do this? So I copied a lot of guides from a Swedish biggest internet magazine, like wrote them off. That was the start.
The Pirate Bay has never been a core activity of Piratbingo. As soon as the Pirate Bay got an important tracker, it was like cut off from Piratbingo so that we could go on with our core activities, while the people who like to run a BitTorrent tracker did that on their own. Because that's, I mean, our basic principle is not about building empires, but branching off and create a multiplicity of projects. Many international watchers are a bit astonished about how we, instead of taking a very defensive approach, are taking the offensive, I mean, without being aggressive in that way, but using the term pirate signals something that many people didn't think was possible at all.
If you buy bootleg videos or download illegal copies from the internet, how are the people who bring you the movies supposed to pay for my glasses, get health insurance,
and pay off my student loans?
Because the movies we love are the work of hundreds of people.
Not just the actors you see on screen, or directors, but cameramen,
script supervisors,
fire safety officers,
costumers,
and countless others.
Yeah! With your support,
we'll all keep on working.
I don't think that's the whole truth, because I don't think they would earn much more money without people downloading. Just trying to keep on making money by selling a small plastic disc with information on them is obviously something that won't last.
But they have to find new ways. So there were like hundreds of really creative people, and if they think, like, they can find out new ways. It's not my job.
It's not going to happen tomorrow, of course. So I really hope that and it will, the society and all the stuff around the music industry and the bands and everything, it will change. So, it will be different, I think. And I don't think there's going to be producers and PR people, and then the next day it's going to be everybody downloads, no one gets paid, and all the musicians, will die and starve to death and so on.
A lot of what the major media companies do today are so obviously based around the copyright model. I mean, in the US you speak about a tentpole model. You find a space of intellectual property that hasn't yet been claimed, and you put your tentpole down and raise a whole tent around it. Like, for example, if you make a movie, you also sell plastic toys and such, which kind of makes up the tent, and obviously that sort of model is would